Hi and welcome to Crease Me Up, the podcast all about Martley Cricket Club, the best village cricket club in the world, in the best village in the world. My name's Craig, or as I'm known in this first ever episode, Wayne. In each show, I'm going to be joined by my good mate Stephen Watty for a few beers, some great cakes, as we talk absolute drivel and have a bit of fun. In future episodes, we're going to have some very, very special guests. In this first episode, you're going to hear the worst explanation of what the crease in cricket means, as well as why having a beer at the same time as recording a podcast is such a daft idea. And before we get going, I wanted to set the scene by asking a few people what they thought of cricket. First of all, here's my wife.
It's about 5 hours too long.
Next, here's my daughter.
Cricket's fab. No, it's not actually. It's quite boring.
Here's my French friend Nicholas.
It's a sport you play on horses. It's like the thing you run with a horse after the ball.
And here's Oliver, a waiter I recently met in New York.
What do I think of cricket?
Yeah.
But the phone company?
So we're off to a blinding start. Before we get going, please email your questions in to creasemeup@hotmail.com. That's creasemeup@hotmail.com. Find us on Facebook to donate to the Pavilion Appeal, and check out amazing photos of Stephen Watty, or Mongo and Magnum, at martleycricket.co.uk. While you're online, you may also need to check out who Mrs. Slocombe is from Are You Being Served? Enjoy the show. All right, welcome to Crease Me Up. In this studio, or my front room, and he's still eating his cake, is Steve. And we got Watty. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello, Steve. Who's been drinking for the last 4 hours? I'm past this face that I've never seen.
How many have you had?
10.
Brilliant. Right.
I'm currently on 10.
By the way, I'm Craig, so I'll go after a flyer's down because I forgot to say who I was. So we got the cake, we got the beer.
The cake was amazing.
We got the attitude. How did this come about? So I'll tell you how I think this came about. Is I came up with this idea based on the fact that we went out, was it September? We went out for beers.
No.
And there happened to be some cricket on.
We were playing golf at Ombersley.
You need to be near the microphone, mate. You're way far. Right. Go on,
I
Andy.
need the mic.
Yeah, brilliant.
We were playing golf at Ombersley, and we all sat around eating copious amounts of steak and ale pie.
Yeah.
And you came up with a mad idea.
And I said podcast, but the inspiration was we went out for beers and we ended up talking absolute crap for about 8 hours. And it made me laugh for about 8 hours. And I thought, why don't we do this and raise the profile? And by the way, this podcast is about Martley Cricket Club. Just thought I'd mention that, right? I mean, you can tell how structured this is.
I was thinking, we talked for 8 hours, about 6 of it was arguing.
But it's quality arguing. I mean, and we could have done that in 5 minutes, but the beers just kicked in. Anyway, so I just thought we'd do this because if we can raise a little bit of profile for Martley Cricket Club, the best cricket club in Martley, right? So we can raise the profile. If we can raise a little bit of money, get everyone to the new pavilion opening on the 26th of July for the Jolie special, of which Bob the Builder is building, right? So if we can do all of that, and you know, and I can make some money out of this as well and raise some house prices in Martley, brilliant. So that's really what we're all about. Don't you reckon?
Yeah. So how many followers or listeners does Stephen Bartlett have on his podcast?
Well,
Go on, Stu.
more than 3.
More, which is where we might end up.
Yeah.
Let's set a target. If we can get 10 people listening to this, is that a success?
How are we going to promote this, by the way?
1,000 we need. We'll work that out later.
Right. I think if you get on Spotify, if you get 25,000 people listening, you get about £3.50 or something like that. So
we need 5 billion.
Just to pay for your bar bill. Yeah.
So we might earn a couple of pence off.
So that's a good use. I found then. So get these tell the accountant on fire.
So this is going to be a podcast all about Martley Cricket Club, what's going on in Martley, and really it's going to be a bunch of blokes talking absolute nonsense. We're going to do it every now and again, see how we get on.
Do we need to explain where Martley is? Because there's going to be people listening all around the world today.
Do people not know? Go on then, Watty.
So Martley is in the centre of the Team Valley, which is the valley that is
next to the river.
Just to confirm to our listener, there are some beers in the room.
Yeah.
So go on.
So in the centre of the UK, well, even half an hour away from Birmingham, everybody knows where Birmingham is. And I'm saying this like there's going to actually be people listening from around the world. And for anybody that doesn't know where the UK is,
Yeah.
We're actually 32 miles south of Birmingham because the trip I do every.
Just
to confirm, Watty is trained in public speaking. Yeah, carry on.
so any Australians, and I'm guessing there'll be lots of Australians that are listening to this. Martley is we've got a signed picture in our clubhouse. I'm loosely calling it a clubhouse. It's in kitchen. No, it's not a signed picture. It's a signed shirt, a signed Glenn McGrath shirt, where I think he said my favourite ever club because Glenn McGrath once played for our club, which will be another story that somebody else can tell at some stage. I'm guessing probably Dave Bradley because he played in that match. So anybody on Australia? Are you better on?
I played in that match.
Anybody in Australia? There's nowhere Martley here because it's Glenn McGrath's favourite club. It's in the middle.
So Worcestershire, yeah, it's the home of, was it Worcestershire sauce? Liam Perrin's Worcestershire sauce. It's still made in Worcester, I think, isn't it?
Made in Worcester, off Bain by Dills, but the Plumbers Arms, one of our vice presidents.
Our sponsor. No, it needs to be a sponsor. He's a sponsor. Yeah.
Sorry, we can edit this podcast. Don't worry. If this made it in, it didn't go well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So this is a podcast just about Martley Cricket Club raising the profile, and I want us to have a Binley Mega Chippy moment. Now, if I said Binley Mega Chippy, do you know what I mean?
No.
Not actually what you're talking about now.
Right. It's on.
You've got something to do with the hair wax.
It's something to do. Shut your face. It's something to do with TikTok, right? So this is what the youths use, and I'm sure all the youths are listening right now.
Yeah, I've managed to explain TikTok to you.
So there's a chippy called Binley Mega Chippy in the middle of Coventry, right? And a couple of years ago on TikTok, it was something to do with a meme or I don't know what they do on, but anyway, some kind of craze whereby for some reason people were singing about Binley Mega Chippy, and then in the next couple of weeks, they had thousands of people queuing up for this chippy, flying in from Australia and Canada and America for a bag of chips at Binley Mega Chippy.
Bag of chips?
No, what? No,
I can't.
No. What I'm saying is, if we can have that effect of a Binley Mega Chippy at the Pavilion opening on 26th of July, be there or be square, it's free entry. That's my master plan. This is my master plan.
We're going to need more beer.
Well, just for you.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so that's the ambition. I'm going to give our listener just a little bit of an impression of you two. So Watty, otherwise known as, what would you say he's otherwise known as?
Walt.
I was going to say the man from the man from Del Monte. Diet Father Christmas.
Debonair, dashing.
I'm gonna let me have a quiet thing. It won't take me a couple of seconds. Vice President and painter came up with a great saying
Very good.
for Mr. Walt earlier today. Something to do with, I can't actually repeat what he said, but it's something to do with the lines of keep that bloke out of our new pavilion. He's causing chaos.
I think you just say out of the playground.
He's a
because I was thinking, you remember Tom Selleck, Magnum PI?
Right? I see where this is going.
No, that's
Magnum.
No, that's Ted Danson. No, Tom Selleck, right?
Yeah.
You know, the dodgy Tash and Flash car.
same bloke, didn't you?
What did he do after? Where did he go after he left Hawaii? I reckon he went to Marley.
You went to Martley.
He went slightly grey. I'm just saying.
Can I? Sorry.
Then we got.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you can't.
Explain why he's
Rewind a little bit. I just want to try and explain the background behind the name Watty. So my name is Stuart Watt. My nickname, from probably age of 2 or whatever, has always been Watty. Yeah. We'll talk about Steve's many nicknames in a minute.
Oh, I know. I only know
It's always been Watty.
You know.
And in the match reports every week, it was always been Watty scored 1 run, Watty scored 2 runs, Watty dropped another catch or whatever. And then one match report, because of a spell check or whatever you call it, auto spell thing, it said Watty scored 3 runs. So forever on, it's been called Watty. And I absolutely love it when all the mums are around when we're doing junior training and everybody's shouting over, "Oi, Watty!" Knowing exactly what they're thinking. So that's where Watty came from for anybody that's listening.
So are you Watty or Watty?
And that's a load of bollocks.
I am Watty.
You are
Watty. I'm Watty, but the spell check turned me into Watty.
No,
I quite like the nickname that I used to have before that.
it's to do with the extra growth you've got and a certain part of your body that was exposed whilst we were in Spain
Spell check.
on cricket.
Spell check.
What?
You see,
No. What?
well, yes, you're
I shared a room with this man. He's the only man I've ever slept with.
your education started in the shower and you inform me of the growth.
Right. So, and
I can feel it.
one of your nicknames is Gary because you just don't shut up and you just go on about stuff that's not true or real.
Have you ever been called Bob the Builder?
No,
Have you not?
No.
Because what did Bob the Builder do next? I reckon he built a pavilion. That's my theory.
Right. Hang on. Before we go, I always think if people are listening to this, they don't know who you are.
That's a big if. Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't know what you look like, they don't know Steve, they don't know what he looks like, they don't know me. Well, but now they know that I look like Macman. Right, so if anybody out there is wanting to know
You can
what
catch me
Steve
in you.
looks like,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing it's probably going to be older people that are listening to this, and everybody will have seen the film Blazing Saddles. What was his name? Gene
Wilder. Yeah.
Who else is in it?
Mel Brooks and Richard.
So not the most favourite, the main character in that film, and if anybody hasn't watched it, you've got to watch it, is a guy that around the campfire would eat orange beans and fart and fart and fart, and he was the most stupid man in this film, and the most stupid character that has ever existed in any film ever made. What was his name, Steve? Mongo. What's your nickname, Steve? Lardy. Mongo. Mongo. And you've got to see the film because it couldn't look more like him. Could it?
Mongo loves sheriff. Did you know that Cleveland Little, who played the sheriff, it was co-written. So it was written by Mel Brooks. Sorry, it's really boring. It was written by Richard Pryor and Mel Brooks, because Richard Pryor was going to be in it as the sheriff, but he was so battered on cocaine all the time and couldn't turn up on time. They gave it to Cleveland Little. I was out for it. That was a rubbish fact. I can feel an edit coming up. Right. Anyway, so this podcast is called Crease Me Up, right? So for our international listener,
yeah,
who's not into cricket but wants to come to Martley and raise some house prices,
yeah.
can you explain why it's called Crease Me Up? What is the crease in cricket?
The crease is where your wife irons or lines down the centre of your T-shirt as you're going out for the evening and you look at class. That's a crease.
That's a brilliant explanation. So the next question, Watty, what's the crease in cricket?
Right.
And have you ever made it back to it?
So this is where you suddenly realise inviting me onto this podcast is a mistake, because as everybody in Martley knows and everybody at Martley Cricket Club knows, I don't know anything about cricket. I know the crease is the white line. I've heard of a popping crease, but I don't know if it's the same thing. So I know the white line. A line we have to get your bat over, but I can't explain any more than that.
So a crease is you've got a batting crease, a bowling crease, and a popping crease.
I do?
Yes.
Oh, he's trained umpire. This is Mongo, who's just done his umpire course.
So hang on.
He said he's going to be umpiring internationals within 2 years, because apparently he's the best training umpire that has ever been seen at Worcestershire umpires.
It's correct. It's correct.
If anybody can see his face now, that's that.
So what's the difference between a crease and a popping crease?
So you've got
For the listener who's not into cricket, go on, Steve.
basically you've got 4 lines. One with some stumps on, 1 4 foot in front of the other, and 1 8 foot in the middle. Yeah.
Take away the first number you thought of.
Yeah.
Add the middle thing.
That's the one in the middle.
Centre line of the stump. So you go 4 foot either side of the middle stump.
Yeah.
Right. In a cricket match, not a baseball match.
Yeah.
So therefore you get your bowling crease, your popping crease is the front line, and your
crease is the one you got to get your bat over.
and your return crease.
So then if you will play cricket and podcast, if you wonder, I'm like, which one creases?
Oh, don't tell me that's done.
Because the way I think of it, it's like base.
And then you've got the lines.
If you stay within the base,
As well, because you've got your wide lines, you've got your stump lines, and you've got lots of lines in the crease. You can't just say what the crease is.
you sounded like Jim now. So that's all I'm saying. So if you're walking your dog right now, listening to this and thinking, why didn't I download The Rest is Politics instead? That's much more exciting. And to be fair, it is. If you're walking the dog or washing your car, or you're driving your car and you're thinking, I really understand what the crease is now. Thanks very much, fellas. What do you reckon the chances of that are?
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's back to the one with your wife hiding down the middle if you touch it.
My explanation was that it's the white line that you stand next to when you're batting, and if your bat is on one side of that line, you can get out, and if your bat is on the other side of the line, you can't get out. That's as much as you need to know.
Yes.
It's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
As a player, the front line is the most important line.
So just so people understand your personality a little bit more, Steve, and I'm going to call you Steve, as a mate, all right, but not for long. So I've only had one. So to understand your personality a little bit more, you've had a good season with Villa this year.
Oh, yes.
'Cause you're a big Aston Villa fan, aren't you?
Aston Villa fan, yes.
Yeah.
Well, the world is, yeah.
You have. Where have you travelled to?
Well, Europe. Let's put it that way.
So you went to Amsterdam, didn't you?
Been to Amsterdam twice.
Greece?
Superb. Been to Greece. Been to France.
How many trips do you remember? How many trips do you remember, Steve?
Not many of them, but I do. I picked the Villa for all of them.
Really?
The trip in Amsterdam, the second one to Ajax, was absolutely ace.
You played for everyone?
Huh?
Did you play for everyone? You mean you picked?
No. That was the one I'd pick.
All right.
And the Amsterdam second trip to Ajax for the round of 16
And-
or the quarterfinal.
And these little fellas you were with, do you reckon they're listening to this rubbish right now?
Possibly not.
Yeah.
Possibly not.
For any listeners that live more than 20 miles away from Birmingham, who are Aston Villa?
That's absolutely ridiculous question. Sorry, I was sat here in amazement.
But because I was leading to the other question.
Looking at someone with purple hair because he just dyed his hair purple again.
Your hair is going prematurely purple, I have to say.
Yeah.
Is it Grecian? What do you call it? Is it Grecian 2000? Just for men?
You know, he uses a purple shampoo. He washes his hair twice,
Really?
every 3 months or something, in purple shampoo because apparently it nourishes the roots.
I used to.
That's what he told me.
Years ago.
It does, and it sends him, and he looks like that.
I think it's great shine to it.
Do you know what I used to? Do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what I used to do? Do you know what I used to do in the 90s? I used to, in the sun on holiday, I used to put lemon juice in my hair
Yes.
because the thing was, it used to make your hair go blonde. It doesn't. It just attracts bees and wasps.
How would you describe the colour of your hair, Craig?
Yeah, but if you put lemon juice in your hair with the amount of wax and gel you got in it now, it would just literally float off and run down your face. And end up in your gin.
If anybody's wondering what Craig looks like, so we've described Steve.
So on to part 2. I think it's time for a break.
Describe Steve.
Is that
Well, I will do.
he buns it?
That was really unique, mate.
Yeah, and I bought one of those caps. And it was a little cap because I got a really big head and glasses don't work on me and hats don't work on me. So I bought this little cap with a tiny little kind of visor thing going on. And everyone just was wetting themselves laughing. I said, what? They went, you Billy Bunter. Oh, my God. So,
I would say you look like
yeah, steady on. We're all good mates, by the way.
room after putting on more than a few pounds. You've got that hair kind thing.
I mean, seriously, what is wrong with it? No.
There's that away.
Yeah, so there's a story behind it. So we will go to a break in a minute because we need to get some adverts and pay for all these beers. But when I first started playing with Steve a couple of years ago, so Steve was captain and we were playing at Arley, which is the coldest, windiest ground in the country. Jeez, I got frostbite where you don't want to get frostbite. And so after a couple of hours of playing, and Steve shouts out, "Oi, Mark!" And I was like, looking behind me, and he's like, "Mark, are you deaf?" I was like, "You mean Craig?" He went, "No, your name's Mark." I was like, "Oh, fair enough." And then after that, you could not remember my name at all.
No.
So then, since then, it's been what? Wayne,
Wait.
Carl,
Wait.
Groucho, yeah, Billy, everything.
You've got another one now. I think that's Billy. That's going to stand now. That's it.
All right. Anyway, we're going to a break. Right. Right, welcome back. So, I know. No, because that's what they do. I've been listening. No, because it gives you the options to insert some ads. And if we get Perks Accounting, let's say slip us $1,000 for some Perks Accounting ads, or Knight Frank, great estate agent, by the way.
Or Anna's Barking Barbers.
Yeah.
Or Andy the Chimney Swing. Or...
How many sponsors have we got now?
Got quite a few, haven't we?
Yeah, we don't really need to go in stage if we forget.
Yeah. Trying to remember the other ones now.
Yeah.
Oh, Ace Window Cleaning. And that Ace Window Cleaning, Ross, he does our windows and he does a bloody good job.
Okay.
Yeah, he does that. He uses that sort of water, what you call it, Steve? It's like ionic water or something, or bionic. Doesn't need soap. It's brilliant.
Yes. Basically, it's been boiled and something else. But
Yeah. If anybody lives around here and they're looking for a new window cleaner, call Ross. Ace Window. Pretty good. No, really nice.
So this is a serious question, okay? So apart from, should we have another beer?
well, that's
Because we just, these guys have had some chocolate orange cake. I think when we do these podcasts, and you're coming back, so when we do when we do these podcasts, we're going to have beers and cake, because cake is integral for our international listener. Cake is integral to village cricket, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And just to explain, and we didn't even explain this at the start. That's how much of a shambles this is. But Martley Cricket Club is a village cricket team. Now you have county teams and you have international teams, but Martley plays in Division
3.
in the first team, and the second team plays in the.
Division 7.
I think it's worth saying as well.
Which is almost the lowest standard of cricket that who can be played.
No, that's
You're talking in
very incorrect. Worcestershire League go all the way down to 16, Division 16, I think it was. Because
I'm conscious of what I just said. We've got some really good cricketers.
We got to Division
that I'm playing.
But we get to Division, I think it actually might be Division 8. We get split into North, South, East, West. So there's 4 divisions within Division 8. Same in 9, same in 10, same in 11, and same in 12. So when you add them all up together, one class isn't that great. We're probably in 20Es.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 and 7.
But my question is, how are we going to promote this podcast? Because there's Martley Residents Facebook group,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
1,800 people.
Is it 1,800 people?
It's 1,800. So we have 1,800 listeners.
So how are we going to get this worldwide? Because this is going to be more popular than the Avengers.
Frank Glenn McGraw,
Right.
Australia,
Yeah.
and get him to advertise it in Australia.
Do you ever mention the stepping on the ball thing at Edgbaston to him?
No,
Right.
not recently.
Is that a touchy subject? I'm sure
He
it
does,
is.
but he does find it funny. Finds it very funny.
He came to speak at Worcestershire a while ago and he told
Yeah.
the story. Is it Glenn McGrath or Glenn McGrath?
McGrath. Well, depends which part of the world you're from. If you're in England, it's Glenn McGrath. If you're in Australia, it's Glenn McGrath.
Because I was conscious, you just said Glenn McGrath. And earlier when I said, I think about him, I said Glenn McGrath. And I'm thinking, I'm like an idiot. I don't even know how to say his name.
So, because you're a big villain, was it Paul McGrath or Paul McGrath?
Paul McGrath.
So how can you say McGrath for Glenn McGrath?
He's Irish. Paul McGrath.
Brilliant.
Paul McGrath was Irish.
I'm
Pronounce it different.
Yeah. Did you notice I got that beer out for myself and he just nicked it? That's amazing.
Oh, well.
It must be a bit tonight.
There we go.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So, I was just surprised. We had the salted caramel cake and with the chocolate orange cake, and he woke up for the chocolate orange.
Well, I was very disappointed. There wasn't a lemon drizzle, to be honest. I'm bargaining for a lemon drizzle.
I asked for salt and caramel, but she gave me a job.
No, seriously.
Yeah, I did.
Did you ask for salted caramel?
Yeah, I did.
I feel. Was it all right?
That was a little thing.
Was it all right? Bought it down at Mace. Really good shop in Marley.
We need to. So Martley's famous for many things, but probably the thing that it's most famous for.
Magnum's retirement home. Yeah.
Magnum's retirement, but it's also the standard of the cakes that get baked by the Martley Women's Institute, and they bake cakes for Martley Cricket Club every week. So actually, we should get somebody on from the Women's Institute to talk about the cake, I think, at some point.
So this was my idea, because we've been faffing around for ages, and so we've been faffing around with this for 6 months. Now, the first reactions, do you remember the first reactions were from you two? I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
We'll pay for the microphones, but you can get stuff to want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Then it went downhill from there in terms of lack of interest.
Well,
So
we definitely organised it.
So yeah, thank you. So then it was just do you remember the group chat thing? I put to the whole Martley Cricket Club, I put on some suggestions for the name for this podcast, and I said, can you vote? Out of all them, how many people are on that group chat?
120.
Do you know how many votes we had? 3. So
there's some responses to some of the messages.
So the lack of interest from the club in doing this. I'm hoping we get more response from abroad, I have to say. But anyway, so hopefully we'll get some listeners out of this.
I was just thinking that when you said about the WhatsApp group, if anybody wanted to try to understand what running a village cricket club is like, the fact that we've got a WhatsApp group called Pot and Baskets, which is basically, I think, the three of us, which is the conversation about what plants and flowers are going to be planted. One could have voted, so we haven't been in with the baskets and whether they've been watered or not.
Well, do you know what? So that brings me on to the roles of the club. Okay, so I'll start with myself. I joined a couple of years ago because Watty and me met strimming the kiddies' playground.
Oh, was this for the? I thought there was a hair salon for the.
Shut up, will you? For the Martley Task Force. All right. Now, the Martley Task Force, a bunch of volunteers, and there's about 6 of us regulars, get together and do some litter picking over a few other bits and pieces. So I met Watty and he said, "Did you want to play cricket?" Now, I'd moved here like 10 years ago, and I always thought I wanted in to the club, but I didn't know how to get in. And so Watty said, "Come along," and the rest is terrible. After that, so I played a few games, and then I got the yips, couldn't bowl, and I thought that doesn't work. But yeah, shut your face. Anyway, so I've been like doing a few pots and baskets and flowers for the club ever since, because Mr. Vision over here, Mr. Chairman, has been helping transform the club. So Watty, tell everyone what your role is at the club and what you've been doing over the last few years of the club.
Yeah, already. Before I do that, you just reminded me about that time that we did all that skimming. So we set up this task force, and it was just to try and tidy up the village. And there was, as always, there's a WhatsApp group set up. So there was about 10 or 15 of us. And me and you volunteered to go and strim around the kids' playing park, didn't we? So we both went down there, and we've got our high-vis jackets on, we've got our helmets, we've got our strimmers, and we toiled in the heat for 2 or 3 hours strimming all this stuff. And at the end of it, we were like high-fiving each other, thinking everyone's going to be really pleased with us. We've just done a really good job. And we were properly dripping with sweat. And we're wanting somebody to walk past it and say, "Oh, that's brilliant what you've both done there, chaps. Thanks very much for that." And there's this woman sort of walking the dog, and she's getting closer to us. And then they're thinking, do you remember? Yeah. Thinking she's going to say, "That's really nice, guys. Thanks for doing that." And she said, What have you done there? We said, "Well, we've trimmed it up to make it real nice for the kids so that they don't get stung by the nettles." And she looked at us and she said, "What about the slow worms?"
Should you've destroyed their habitat? Do you not even do any kind of assessment on it? We're like, what? I had a right go at us. What about the grass snakes?
The grass.
What about them? Honestly, she had a right go at us. So, but
what was the question?
So the question.
Slow worms in the grass.
Yeah, and then
Do you know I did a script for this? And we'd I've never looked at it.
Right.
Yeah.
I got involved with the club. I moved to the village about 12, 13 years ago. I played cricket as a kid for about a year, but I seem to remember how good it was, cricket clubs. So when I moved here, I wanted to get my 2 lads into as many sports as I could. So I saw that there was a cricket club and that they were training at the local sports centre. And I went down there and I got them both running up and down in the nets. And a chap called Rob Ganderton, who I'm sure you'll have on this podcast at some stage, he's training them all. And I'm just sat on a bench watching them. And then Rob came up to me and he said, "Well, you may as well not just sit there. You may as well have a bowl yourself."
They were actually short that day.
Well, it's training. He was just he gave me the ball. And, I haven't. So I'm age 40 at this point. I haven't had a cricket ball for.
It was a while ago.
For 39 years.
25 years. Anyway, so I'm bowling, and then I think the next week I took my lads down again. They had absolutely no interest in it whatsoever, and I'm bowling again. And then I was trying my hardest. I was trying to bowl as fast as I could, and it was ridiculous. Anyway, and then Rob.
Did you feel the pressure?
No, I didn't feel any pressure.
You did. That's what you thought to bowl fast. You felt the pressure.
All right,
You thought.
I've got to show you something I'm trying to boss. I can either go in bed the next day. Anyway, and then I think it was Darryl that came up to me or something and said, and clearly we were very short for the next week. We probably had about 6 players available.
And you still didn't make the team.
No, Rob came up to me and said, and they did what you do, probably what I did to you, Craig, and said, we've been watching you go, you've got some talent. What are you doing on Saturday? I think.
Who was this? Stevie Wonder?
Jesus, I know he's bullshit. But that was the way that I was going. And they said, we've been watching you. We think we need to give you a run out. I said, we've got a big game coming up. We need some proper players. Would you be able to play? Anyway.
Was this the one against the Groin College and they took the ballot?
So I think that's how I got into the club. And because I'm 40 and I'm that kind of age, I started doing a bit of strimming around the ground.
Yeah.
And I was happy doing that. And then one Sunday, Simon Butler, who used to get involved with all the junior training, came up to me and he said, can I have a quick word with you? Oh, yeah. And he said, we had the club AGM last night. Oh, how did it go? Yeah, really good. How many were there? Well, there's about 3 there. All right, okay. Right. And he said, we thought you might make a good chairman. Oh, did you know? He said, yes, and we voted you in. All right. I have no idea what that means, but that's how I became chairman, from having to go in the nets while I was watching the kids, to doing a bit of strimming, to never being on the committee, never played cricket, don't know anything about it, and then because nobody else wanted to do it. That's how I started.
Mr. Chairman. Steve, what about you? Because you've been at the club. You've been at the club since what, 1879 or something like that?
Oh, God, 13 and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
I started playing for Martley. I didn't tell a lie. I played for Bromyard for a year because of the games teacher at high school, Chantry.
People's Republic of Bromyard.
Yes, I went to play for Bromyard for a year. Absolutely hated it because I had to travel all the way up those hills and people with 6 fingers up there will understand why you hated up there. So I then came back, got poached.
You got poached?
I was poached. Poached is it?
He burst onto the sea.
I was poached as a young lad.
Yeah. You're Micah Richards.
England wanted him. But he can't.
It was very close. I'll talk about my innings.
To get a sign-on bonus, did you?
So basically, we ended up playing 13, 14, 15-year-olds. One Saturday side, one Sunday side, growing youth section at that time. A few of us were getting relatively good at cricket.
Yeah.
And I think I was part of one. I think 3 of us at 15 years of age played for the league side on a Saturday, which was like you couldn't get into that side apart if you were the 13 or 14 players, the regular adults.
Yeah.
But we got in.
So
because it was like those 13 or 14 players were like the dons of the club.
Is that based on ability or just
ability?
That was the
ability.
Oh, really?
It wasn't just the fact that they were Marley, it was ability. They were good players. So anyway, us 3 got in. I could bowl back then, so could the other lad, and another lad could bat. So we got in, basically.
Who were the other 2?
Matthew Repton and Simon Hunt. Okay.
That could be Jeremy Hunt kind of thing. Sorry.
Let's not do that. Anyway, that's what happens. And we basically went from there.
Well,
So I played from that age all the way through till I think 19, 20, 21.
and you're a very tidy batsman and a good bowler. To be fair. No, he is. He takes wickets. He knocks it apart from Torremolinos. He can really hit a ball. And we're going to talk about Torremolinos.
And we're going
to be talking about...
only got to 21.
So, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So,
we poached again.
I wasn't poached again. As I referred to, I was quite shocked. So I went to move to the Birmingham League, as a couple of other players have done within the club.
Yeah.
Went to Kidderminster for a year.
So the Birmingham League being a higher league.
Birmingham Premier is one step below County Cricket. I wasn't playing in the Birmingham Premier League, by the way. It was Birmingham Division 1 at the time. Didn't like it at Kidderminster. Then I went to Evesham, played with a good friend of the club, Bob Gittins, who's sadly not with us anymore.
Yeah.
He took me to Evesham. I played a couple of years there. And played with one of the Worcestershire bowlers, Neil Radford. What an arsehole.
You play...
What an arsehole that bloke is, I will say.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Basically, it's my club, my ball, my.
Oh, no.
I'm bowling, you're not.
Wow.
So after that, those 2 years,
Are we at 22 yet?
because that was that done.
Okay.
Didn't play for 3 or 4 years. Went to play at Harrow for a couple of years. Hated it. Well, I didn't hate it at Harrow. I liked it at Harrow because it was back down in Division 6, 7, scoring loads of runs, taking wickets, bit of fun.
Yeah.
Nowhere near what I could used to bowl, but bit of fun.
Yeah.
Got out of the chairman there.
Yeah.
And came back to Martin. And that's what it is, really. And I've been back in there.
And so
5 years ago. Come back to us.
Oh, dear. No, longer than that, how was it? Longer than that.
if you can hear scratching, it's Murphy trying to get into the room.
I think I've been
It's-
back at Martley, probably 6, what am I now, 40? I've been back here 6 years, I would have thought.
So what is it that's changed in the last few years about Martley Cricket Club?
Do we not get to hear about your cricket career?
No,
Do we not?
no, it's because it's absolutely shocking. Go on. So, do you know this podcast we've been recording now for 36 minutes, and 35 of it's on your career? Go on.
However,
Yeah.
there are many people around here that have been clocked. I was, as I said, for speed to being quite sharp as a bowler, which is why I was took into the Birmingham League. I was actually clocked
Really?
at 82.7 miles an hour.
No.
Yes,
What are you now?
13.4.
Wow. You were fast.
Out of sharp.
Yeah. I did not know that. Did you?
Blame me.
Did you know that?
Yes, I did. He's
Without
shot out 45 times.
Without blowing me in front of it. And you can have many of the elder states.
You are a good player. No wonder you called me Wayne. Good on.
That is blowing your own trumpet, buddy.
Sorry.
That's always so bad. Oh,
So my cricket career.
it's a mile and a half faster. Have you done it?
No, it's always been the same, so go on and improve on it. Whilst we're on the subject of careers and what we've done in our careers, I'm the only Marty cricketer or cricket player to ever win the Norwich Union 6-hitting competition.
And for all of our listeners who don't know what the Norwich Union
basically,
6-hitting competition is,
Each club,
Yeah.
a few years ago, should we say, entered a player into this competition. So the round of 32, the round of 16, the quarters, the semis, the final, etc., etc., etc. And you got bowled 6 balls at, and you either had to hit as many sixes as you could, or it was classed on the person who hit it the furthest if you hit the same amount of sixes. And that's how you progress to the next round. So I was fortunate enough to get to the final.
Yep.
Final was at New Road, Worcester, one of the prettiest grounds in world cricket.
it is. And let's hope they don't move. It's
That's debatable. We were bowled at by a current Worcester professional bowler at the time.
That's it. Remember?
I think it was Damien. If I remember rightly, it was Damien Dollary, God rest his soul. I was against a chap from Ombersley.
Who's the dollar figure that plays for us now? That's Damon.
Brett.
Brett. Okay.
Brett's still now.
Yeah, I don't really follow cricket.
No, you don't, do you? It's up over there. Anyway, I was against a chap from Ombersley. He hit 1 straight 6. I hit 2 6s.
Yeah.
And without blowing me from it again,
yeah. There's a lot of blowing the
I
trumpet
didn't
too.
actually hit it into the River 7 off the road. I hit it miles.
Wow.
So I gained a nice little trophy, which I will be putting in the pavilion when it's open.
Yeah.
And won, back in the day, 500 quid for the club for winning the competition.
Wow. I've just realised, and we'll come back to your career, mate, because I think we're a quarter of the way through so far. So, I think there's a lot to talk about this club, about where it's going, where it's been, who is the biggest deal for the club. There's a lot of questions to answer about this club, and I think I want to make this world famous. I want people to know about it, and I want people to turn up. 26th of July, be there or be square. You said you want. Are we done with your career yet? We're not. We're not.
Yeah, no, we're doing my career now.
Right. Because mine is going to take a very short amount of time.
I'm the only Martley player that has won the British University's Volleyball Cup.
That's not good for a cricket club.
Was that beach volleyball?
No, it wasn't. That was
Because I'm starting to get quite
He
warm.
entered the beach volleyball because he wanted to serve behind the young lady that was in front of him showing fingers up his back. Up their back.
So we've got the
So I'm just looking at the Evelyn function.
UN 6-hitting champion.
Yeah.
Actually, you've got a British University's Volleyball Championship winning player.
Yeah.
Craig, what have we got with you?
I won a Blue Peter sticker once.
So that's more than me did.
It wasn't even a badge, it was a sticker. I couldn't believe it.
See the current in the competition since.
And just to confirm, we're not on repeat here. Steve's on repeat.
Well, I've heard the story about 37.
Now, my cricket career is quite short. So I played loads when I was a kid. I used to play for a club called St Fagans, who won Village Championship of the Year twice, 81, 82. And I used to play for the youth team in Wales, in the youth team. So stop talking about England because I'm Welsh. Yeah. Will you leave off the anyway? So I used to play for the youth team until I smashed up my teeth and smashed up my nose with a broken nose, going for a ball on the boundary, and this other little ginger-haired little fella came the other way, and we didn't call for it. Anyway, so that put me out of action for a while, and then I thought I got to university, and I thought I'm going to try out in the nets. Here we go. Ding dong, here we go. And I was really quick. I wasn't 82 mile an hour, but I was banging it in and I was so accurate. And I pretty much bowled like 6 foot full tosses non-stop. And this little fella with the clipboard said, "Cricket's not for you, is it?" And it was just like the most gutting thing ever. Because I was like pretty good. I was captain of the school team. Loved it. So then I rock up when I'm 49 years old. And Watty says, "Right, come along." So it was me, Watty, and a little fella called Ben Court, right? Now, we're going to have a whole episode about Courty on its own. But it was 3 of us on a Sunday morning, a couple of years ago. First ball. Watty, do you want to describe what happened? Can you remember what happened? I tried to bowl it so fast and I hadn't bowled the ball in 30 years. I fell over.
Your arm fell out.
And I fell into the net. And if the net wasn't there, I think I'd be disabled by now. It was like, and I went, I tripped.
Well,
It was so bad.
when you first started playing for us, and you'd be stood in the field, and then whoever the captain was at the time, probably Jim Basford, would shout at you some field in position. And then you're looking across to me thinking I knew what the field is, and I'd shrug my shoulders back at you. We just used to have to be pointed at.
This podcast was, instead of being called Crease Me Out, it was going to be called 45 on the One, because, and there's a reason behind this. So it was a very, very hot and sunny day, and I was having a pretty rubbish time bowling, and it's got another duck, I think. So we were fielding. So anyway, Steve, as captain for the day, shouted, "Oi, Wayne! 45 on the one." I said, "What? 45 on the one?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I thought, is that an offer at Tesco's or something? What are you talking about? So he goes, 45. And I thought, so I looked at Watty and he shrugged his shoulders again, chuckling. I went, so I started walking, like, just towards the boundary. And Steve goes, are you thick or something? 45. It turns out, what does it mean, Steve?
It means you're in a basic hiding position where you don't ever get the ball. So as a captain, you need to hide somebody. And basically you're sat on a 30-yard ring on the batsman's leg side.
So we're trying to appeal to people who don't know cricket that much, right?
I don't know somebody shouts 45 on the one, and it gets angry where you don't walk to exactly where. And then the next one that you started lately, Steve, or you started a couple of years ago, where you just shout at someone, you go, "Wait, on the tins."
What does that?
What is it on the tin?
What does on the tin?
For those that play cricket will understand this. Basically, you've got a 30-yard circle.
So just to confirm, if you can't see this, and we're going to video soon. But Steve is drawing things on the table with his fingers. So go on.
So you've got a 30-yard circle from the wicket towards the boundary, and it's all around this to do with fielding restrictions and things like that. Those markers on that 30-yard, when you get to good standard of cricket, as I've obviously mentioned, they're normally you call it the tins.
Yep.
So tin lids, is that?
Yeah, that's basically because it resembled tin lids.
So a little flat on the tins.
So you put on the tins.
On the tins.
That's where that comes from.
What's it on the tins? On the tins.
I'm just looking at me script, and I'm just thinking, I can't believe I had some kind of structure because it's all gone completely something up. I'm not going to say it. Anyway, right. So we're going to have to do this again. I think this is so. My theory, right, is that even though you two want nothing to do with it, if I bribe you with beer and cake, right, every now and again,
Okay, I'm all right with
we're gonna the three of us do this podcast with guests, joiners, or guests as you call them.
So as chairman and proper chairman, Caleb and Jeremy, as we know within the club, you actually want us to be part of the podcast
Yeah, I do
every month.
and I think. Because originally it was going to be my little face on it, but we're going to have all three of us. So I'm going to doodle some characters that look like you fellas, if I can fit them on the screen. Magnum. Yeah, Magnum. Get little Ferraris. Magnum, Marxy, and Mongo. Yeah, what a name for a podcast. Right. So I thought we'd take a break.
What a break.
A proper break. But just for the listener to understand your personalities just a little bit more, I've got a test. Okay.
Oh no!
The test is called hamburger or hot dog. Okay. Do you know hamburger or hot dog?
Not a clue what he's talking about. Well,
So I played hamburger or hot dog with you in Torremolinos.
did we?
But you had about 5 beers in front of you at the time and couldn't talk. So it didn't go that well. You lost again, mate. Sorry. It wasn't a nice union 6-hitting competition, I tell you. Right, so what are you going to go first? So the rules are you're just going to give you one answer, no prevarication, no like, oh, no. Yeah. Hang on a minute. So I'm going to give you alternatives. You got to say one. Okay? Ready?
Yeah.
Veggie or meat?
Meat.
Why, is that a problem?
It is in the Wart household.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yes. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, is your wife? You really?
Yes, he basically eats cardboard for Christmas dinner.
Your wife is currently listening to this podcast.
Trust me, she will.
Godfather or Godfather 2? Come on, you must know.
I haven't watched either.
What?
But I've got to give an answer. Godfather. The first one's always the best, isn't it?
You haven't watched either. Seriously, everyone around the world now is thinking, how does this work? Right. Blonde or brunette?
Brunette.
Good answer. BBC Sport or ITV Sport?
I don't watch anything on the BBC, so I disagree with them, so I'll say
Everyone is switching off right now.
yeah, starting it off in
Spain or Greece?
Greece.
Radio or podcasts? Right, we haven't put this pause in. What is actually on? He's actually on a podcast. He's actually on a podcast. Pause it.
Right, I know you have short answers, right? Let me give you a long answer to that. My wife's been running a podcast for ages, which I kind of listen to a little bit, but I've never really listened to any podcasts. So I've always been radio. But because when you told me 12 months or so ago you're going to do this, I started to listen to some podcasts. So I would probably say these days, answer, but only because I knew that at some stage you were going to invite me on to one podcast.
Salt and vinegar or prawn cocktail?
Salt and vinegar, prawn cocktail, me.
God.
You understand, Reese?
Did you just say salt and vinegar is minging?
No, prawn cocktail's me.
That's lush. What are you talking about?
Depends if you put it in a cheese and pickle sandwich or you have it on its own, because it all becomes different, doesn't it?
The other day, I had a ham salad cream, sandwich bread, gherkin, and jalapeno sandwich.
What fish did you put in it?
Salt and vinegar.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. What about? Oh, okay. There's one sandwich with crisps or no crisps.
With?
You're non-committal there, mate.
Well, I never do it, but I imagine if I put the effort in, I'd
Put the effort.
Basically,
probably haven't even done it.
he's not listening to this. Says exactly the same thing.
I'm interested a couple of times. It's quite nice. That's the thing to do it.
Netflix or Prime? Hot dog or hamburger doesn't work for Prime, is it? Right. London or Birmingham?
London. Birmingham.
Fizzy or still?
Fizzy.
Scotland or Wales?
Scotland.
What? Seriously?
Right, so I'm assuming you're going to invite a whole load of people.
I just gave you.
That's nothing got in a single person. Why would you like Wales?
I just gave you some chocolate orange cake, and you said Scotland. Hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
Steve,
Yes.
I've realised we're having a podcast with a psychopath. Hopefully you can do better.
No, probably not.
It's not even much The Godfather, right?
Horrible question.
Okay. Wolves or baggies?
Neither.
No. You have to have one. You have to say which one you prefer. These are preferences. Which ones you prefer? And bearing in mind, one of your mates might be listening to this. Wolves or baggies? Who do you prefer?
That's a good question. I'm fine.
I so wish we'd done. I'll give you a third. I'll give you a third option. Birmingham City.
Wasn't just now.
Bearing in mind, we'll be recorded for 45 minutes.
Out of the two,
Yeah.
I'm drawn towards the baggies.
You like the baggies,
No, I don't like them. They're irrelevant, so I'm going to say the baggies.
so they're irrelevant. But Wolves are less.
So the Wolves are irrelevant to me, but
Wolves have outperformed Villa over like the last 10 years.
no, stop talking rubbish.
They've done really well, haven't they?
No, they-
Baggies have done for a while.
Right.
Right, move on next week. That's great.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars all day long.
Two, right? That's the right answer.
Yeah.
That's the what?
Never watched it.
You know, do we want him on this podcast? Seriously,
I love you, that.
we are so down. We are so doing video next time.
Wait till we get to Spain on tour this year.
Stella or San Miguel?
Sorry, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Stella,
very definitive.
Stella is wife beater. Gives you like a headache. Causes lots of trouble. I know.
Edit. Premier League or Champions League? What you prefer? As a Villa fan, what do you prefer? Eh? Premier League or Champions League? And this podcast software does take out the silences, which is a good job because he can't decide here. If any of your mates are listening to this, what's your answer? Premier League? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't care about the Champions League. Okay.
No, I do care about the Champions League, but I know we're not going to win it.
Right.
We're not going to win the Premier League either.
But my answer, because I don't really follow it, Villa aren't in the Champions League.
Yes. The first time we qualify this season, you're in for the European Cup or Champions League. For
Last season, you're in Europe, but weren't you?
we were not in the Champions League. We were in a lot of competitions. But yes,
This year, you're in the Champions League.
Yeah.
smashed everyone out of sight and qualified for the Champions League.
So is the question that you were thinking about then, whether you'd rather win the Premier League or the Champions League? Is that how you were thinking?
It's what do I want? Well, I want the Villa to be in the Premier League, obviously, as a Storm Villa fan. Home and away season ticket holder.
You'd rather be in the Premier League and that. So it wasn't whether you'd want to win one, it's whether you'd want to be in it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're in deep with your mates. So that one. Christmas or birthday?
Christmas.
Night out or a cup of tea in an early night?
It's always out all day long.
I've got to ask Watty that because
all day long, though. You want your night out, I've done it. I went to bloody Edgbaston. I've never been. No, I've been to watch England play once, but I went. Steve got tickets to go and watch England play Australia. It was the first Ashes test.
It was what the alcohol said.
We said, "Right, at Edgbaston." He said, "Right, we're going." And there was about 4 or 5 of us that went. And then we sat. I mean, the game was meant to start at what time? 10,
11 o'clock.
It meant to start at 11.
Oh, yeah.
But it was forecast rain till probably 1 o'clock. So we knew there was going to be no cricket on till 1 o'clock. We got on the train at 8 o'clock, right?
was it beer for breakfast?
Because each got, they were on a 4-packer and a...
Was to Birmingham News is a 4-can trip.
It's a 4-can trip, right?
Yeah.
It's just half an hour, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's half an hour. So by the time... So we got on the train at 8. So we're in Birmingham for a match that we're not going to get to see until 1 o'clock. You're at 4 cans by 8:30. We get to the ground or about 9:30 and they're serving beer.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not drinking till 2 o'clock because I actually want to see England play. And if I start drinking, by the time the cricket started at about 1 o'clock, I mean, Haley might be listening to this for I'm not any surprise anyway. Yeah. I reckon you'd had 20 pints by the time the cricket started, and I was drinking soft drink. Yeah. So when you say a night out all day long, your night out starts at 8 in the morning.
It was the last day of the test match, so it was the final. It was amazing. It was an amazing day. We had a great day.
It was incredible.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I don't think we got until 10 o'clock there. We didn't get in until 10 o'clock that night, by the way. And we commandeered a station to the shops to buy some more beers for the train on the way home because there was no shop in sight. And we met our new signing on the station who was pissed up to save us.
That's where it'll start.
And it was just recently signed for us.
Yeah. Division 1's leading bookie takers.
Worcestershire Division 1.
We are going places, Marley.
Opening bowler for a very...
Tell you what, it's going to be a Binley mega chippy moment. 26th of July. Be there.
Yeah.
It's on at martleycricket.co.uk. That's the one.
We are celebrating as much about this new signing as we did when Wayne did.
Blur or Oasis.
So, yeah.
Blur, I can't even speak now. Blur or Oasis. This episode has been brought to you by Moretti, by the way. So,
I'll say Blur because when I was 17 straight 18, I couldn't or should have been in nightclubs. Blur was the music that...
Blur? Seriously?
Blur was great. The club I was in.
Who would choose Blair?
Who would choose Blur?
Sorry.
It's Oasis all day long. Yeah, you're talking. Seriously.
I can't support Oasis. He's a Man City fan. That's it. Done.
Tattoos or no tattoos?
Tattoos.
Really? Have you got any tattoos? No way. He's got tattoos. Do you think? I was watching.
They are. But it's
line. I mean, at least I'm got him.
So you've got
you got shaving yours then.
Hey, pardon?
Tattoos.
What is it?
What's that?
I was really trying to think, what all that say?
So the listener can't see this, by the way. So
it's just like shaking fried rice.
no, are they Chinese characters?
Yeah, and then that one was supposed to be a H with a rose running through it, but it just went completely wrong.
Why does it say I love Neville? so I was watching Idiot Abroad with Carl Pins.
Ginny Savills.
I was watching.
I can still line it.
So I was watching Idiot Abroad the other day with Carl Pins. I think he's a genius. And he said, "Don't you think Chinese characters look like someone's trying out a biro?" That is true, isn't it? Heroes or celebrations, which is a great question. There's only one answer here. Come on, seriously. And don't say Roses or Quality Street.
No.
Yeah.
That's quite a good one.
I can't remember the one with the ones I like in. I'll just wait for Christmas to arrive and the box turns up and I eat them.
Teasers and celebrations, aren't they?
Yeah.
But you only get this and need you.
Yeah, get too many Milky Ways.
Celebrations is Jesus.
Do you know the most popular sweetie in Roses? It's the strawberry cream. And
I love them.
No, you don't. No one does.
It's strawberry.
You're wrong.
It's the
little round,
the orange ones.
Yeah.
round golden.
Yeah, I eat that one. I don't know. I keep away from the toffee. I don't like the finger ones.
The blue one thing. And
Don't eat that.
don't eat that. Coconut.
And I like the pink one as well, that truffly one as well. Absolutely beautiful.
Just to
Turkish delight, isn't it?
You haven't all got bit there.
All right.
Just to remind our listener, this is about Martley Cricket Club. We're nearly at the end of hamburger or hot dog. German cars or Japanese cars?
German.
Yeah, two right. That's the right answer.
And definitely not electric.
Shut up. A weekend in New York or a weekend in the Cotswolds?
New York.
Right. Blonde or brunette?
Both.
No, one.
What can I ask?
We are so doing videos. And the last one, hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger all day long.
Welcome back to Crease Me Up. With me, I've got Watty.
Still.
We've got Steve.
Hello.
Brought to you in association with Stella, or San Miguel,
Somehow.
and Craig. So during the break, we were just chatting about who we're going to have next. And there are a lot of people we want to bring on. We definitely want to bring on people who can talk about the Mandarins, our women's team, our women's setup. Definitely to have people coming in talking about the juniors. We've got a fantastic junior setup as well. So this is not going to be a blokey podcast, but tonight it is pretty blokey. So, and that's Misty, my dog, who's barking at a blade of grass that's moved or something like that. She does like to bark. So let's finish off. Let's finish off by talking about what's coming up. So 11th of July, I think it's the 11th of July.
26th.
No, the 11th is where we're going to see Worcestershire in the T20,
26.
and that's going to get a little bit sad.
26.
But the most important thing is this one.
No. On the 26th of June, I think it's the 26th of June,
Yeah,
our president,
Brothers.
our long-suffering president, who has been a committee member of this club for probably 50 years, and prior to that, his dad was committee member for about 50 years. Jack Bradley. So Dave Brothers Bradley has been basically the heart and soul of this club forever. Is shaving his hair off as a fundraiser to try to get us over the line with the new pavilion that we're building, which we haven't talked about, but we will at some stage, to try to raise another 5,000 quid. And I think it's the last, or one of the last All-Stars nights, which is our family fun night. And he's shaving all his hair. So that's the first big date. Brothers
And how would people be able to chip in a few quid for that? Please chip in.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a crowdfund page which you'll be able to link in the.
So we'll put something on the website, martleycricket.co.uk.
That's massive. Every single £5, £1, £10, £20, £50, whatever, because it will get us over the line. The pavilion is not nearly built. We're trying to buy some furniture because otherwise we're all going to be sat on the floor in there, which will be a bit of a shame. So we're looking to try to raise the final buy of 10 grand to get us over the line.
It's going to be like a Blue Peter of Bill, isn't it?
As a 75-year-old guy, and he's got long hair, which he would describe as being sort of wavy and beautiful. Others might describe it differently, but he's had the same haircut for his whole life, and he's going to shave it off for the club that pretty much.
But the first thing I was thinking of with his little goatee and his glasses, Walter White from Breaking Bad. It's just going to happen. He just needs to wear one of those little hats.
What's Breaking Bad?
Have you two actually do anything about popular culture?
I've watched Breaking Bad.
You just not watch The Godfather. I mean, what do you two do with your time? I don't understand it. Have you not watched Breaking Bad?
What's Breaking Bad?
It's the best thing on TV.
We have got to do video because your face is
Breaking Dad or Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad.
I've watched Breaking Dad with what's his name? Bradley Walsh.
I'm staggered. I am so. You haven't not watched Breaking, the greatest TV program ever made. Honestly. Well, it's not Breaking Bad, is it?
It can't be. It's no better than Larson's Farm, is it?
So just before we talk about the pavilion, we've got an email address, creasemeup@hotmail.com. Send any questions, also any comments you got about Steve never even hearing about Breaking Bad.
Email.
We've got an email address.
Hey,
Now, send in your comments about, well, one, Watty's purple hair, two, Steve's lack of any appreciation of popular culture, and three, any other insults you want to send our way. We might read some of these things out because, let's face it, we've already run out of stuff to talk about. So we'll read out your questions on air. But have a look at martleycricket.co.uk.
Yeah.
Are we on Facebook?
Yeah.
So last thing we're going to talk about the pavilion. Over to you guys. Tell us about the pavilion.
Oh, no.
Tell us about the 26th of July and the Binley Mega Chippy movement we're going to have.
What's Steve?
No. You do it. What's happening on the 26th of July?
Right. So this will be a long story now. So the background to this.
Sorry, we're on 1 hour 17 so far.
We can move you to the film.
So if I think about it, the cricket club was first formed in 1859. It's one of the oldest cricket clubs in the county. It's older than Worcestershire, I think. But there's some other village cricket clubs that are about 5 years older. So it's been going for, it's our 165th year anniversary this year. And the club, as a small club, has achieved some just incredible things. Like I say, Glenn McGrath's played. We've had a number of different testimonials. But our facilities have never been that great. So if I think 5 or 6 years ago, there's this thing, there's a league table. So whenever a visiting club comes to play, they have to fill out a survey or something like that. The captains does it. It's the captain's portal or something like that, isn't it, Steve? Where they grade you on how good were the facilities, whether the sight screens, the covers, the wicket, the outfield, all this. And about 5 or 6 years ago, we were rated the worst in both Division 3, where our first play, and Division 7, where our seconds play. And it was probably a fair rating, wasn't it? I mean, it's a bit shit, but hey, it was our ground, and we were proud of it. But we recognised we needed to get it a bit better. And so I'd kind of say, or when I said earlier that we used to have, or when I was voted in as chairman, there was an AGM with 3 people. There was a committee with 3 people, and 3 people, the bastards, voted me in. And then the first thing that I did as chairman was get Steve on board when he came up and said that he wanted.
Too right.
So that was the.
Too right.
There wasn't. Because you were chairman for 2 years before that. I rocked up, absolutely smashed, playing in a six-a-side competition, and went, I think I'm going to come back to Marley. You turned around, looked at me and went, no, you're not, because that's what you said in your head. Off you two-tooled, down, walking around the pavilion.
Steve's pointing in the
Walking around the boundary, speaking to various members of the cricket club at the time. Who that twat over there with 14 beers inside him, smoking a fag, he's never done anything for this club, I don't even dance for years.
And for our American listeners, that's a cigarette.
Yeah,
That was the first time I ever met. The first time I ever met Steve. We used to hold a sitting line tournament, and this was when I was just doing swimming and things like that. And we used to invite different people. So we used to have like 4, 6-a-side teams come. And we invited this team from Hallam, and Steve and his brother Stu came. I've never met him, and everybody wanted to listen to Steve's a proper gobshite. Oh God! And I'm sure his brother Stu won't mind me saying, so is he. So these two blokes turned up that I've never met before, and they were probably pissed when they already arrived at the ground, right? And
can you just get in? We actually walked the floor with you.
Well, I can't remember that. I don't remember that, but I can't. I'm a little bit traditional, and I like things done properly and things like that.
Yeah.
And they turned out, and I'm sure it was you. You were wicket keeper because
I was keeping.
Yeah. So you've told the story about how you bowled 1,000,000 miles an hour and stuff like that, but you were wicket keeping because you had some sort of injury. And he stood there with these pads of these gloves on, with about 15 empty cans of beer behind him. And I quite like people turning up. You know, people take the piss out of it. I like people turning up in clean kit and doing things properly and treating everybody. And he's there with about 15 empty cans of Heineken behind him. And he's just like, who is this guy? Anyway, but everybody told me about you, and I knew that the first thing as a chairman is to get you on board, to be fair.
But as what? So what was your role?
Get him on. Just get him on.
Just get him on.
Yeah.
That's it. Right.
So if I can't, I know this isn't really the question that you asked, but I'll give you this answer anyway. So if I think...
I'm going away in August, by the way, so...
Yeah. So first of all, I said the club's been going for 165 years. So it's incredibly successful. It's been going, just the fact that it's been going for that long, that's a success on its own.
Yeah.
And it was kind of run by probably 2 or 3 people that just put their hearts and souls into it. And if I look back then, if I was to look now at 3 metrics that you could measure the success of a cricket club on, and I would say 1 is the number of juniors, 1 is the number of people on the committee, and 1 is the number of people, the volunteers that help. So back then we had 3 people on the committee, we had 3 volunteers, and we had 6 people in our all-stars. So there's 3. If you get the kids sorted, that'll take care of the future of the club. If you get the right people on the committee, that'll take care of the future of the club. And if you get the number of volunteers, that'll take care. So we used to have 3 people on the committee. We've now got how many, Steve? 15? 15. We used to have 3 people at the AGM. This year, do we have 55 or something?
Do something.
15
in the late.
Yeah. If I look at the juniors, we have 6 people in our all-stars. And if anybody doesn't know what all-stars are, it's between 5 and 11-year-olds. We used to have 6. 5 years ago, we had 6 all-stars. We've now got 120. So we've got a 5 times increase on committee members. We've got a 20 times increase on juniors. And then on volunteers, where we used to have 3 people doing everything, I calculated the other day, we've got 34 people now.
Man.
So if I look at everything, because the money and the finances, that'll take care of itself. You've got the right committee and the right volunteers, it all that'll take care of itself. The cricket, I'm not interested in the level of standard, the cricket. I leave that for the cricketers, so I don't measure that. But then you look back and you think, well, why's that happened? Why have we had that massive increase? And I'll put it down to 3 things. I think the first thing, do you remember that quiz where I stood up and waffled on about the club vision?
Yeah, completely embarrassing.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
It took bloody ages.
So embarrassing.
Dave Bradley, who's the best quizmaster ever in the world, and he does it like professionally. What
was the name of the lady that was in Are You Being Served? What was her name?
Oh,
She used to do the ladies' wear.
oh my God.
Yeah. What was the name of the lady with the purple hair in Are You Being Served?
I'm gonna have to Google it. I know exactly what you mean.
But that's what it was like.
Right. So anyway, This is Slocombe. This is Slocombe. That's it. Oh, great. I gotta use it.
That's it. Yeah, that's what it
This
is.
is Slocombe.
But do you remember the woman who used to work with her in Are You Being Served? She was,
Yeah.
and then she became Pauline Fowler in EastEnders. What happened there? Anyway,
Sorry, so did Payne Street before that as well.
and as I was saying, this is not going to be a blokey podcast. Don't
Right, and
back to you.
So, right, Chris, I put my hand up. I said, can I say a few words? And we had about 120 villages in there.
There's 3.
We had about 120 villages in the village hall. And I started waffling on, saying, right, we've put this new committee together. So we went from 3 to probably 10 at that time. So we've got this new committee together. We've got loads of energy. We're going to transform this club. And it came up on my Facebook feed the other day. I waffled on about something like that. When you're on holiday driving around Devon or Cornwall, and you'll drive past a cricket ground, and there's something about that cricket ground that makes you want to stop the car, get out and take a photo. And I went on about that it might be the little white picket fencing, it might be the fact that the whole village is out there supporting, having a beer together, it might be all the sponsors' banners, it might be the hanging baskets, it might be the beautiful traditional wooden clad pavilion, it might be the clock on top, it might be anything like that, but it makes you get out your car and stop and take a photo. And I remember saying, that's what this village is going to have. And I remember when I said it, I don't think I believed it myself, to be honest. But it was just like, you say these things and you said, that's what we should aim for. That's what we should aim to have. Anyway, so, and I'm not saying this was the plan, but if I look back, it was first of all, have this great vision that everybody starts to get behind and think, do you know what? I'd quite like to be part of that. The next stage is, it's all very well having this great, fantastic vision, but you've got to turn that into reality rather than just a dream. So you've got to get some quick wins. So that was where Steve came in. So we put benches around. We'd never had benches around the ground. We built a bar. We'd never had a bar. And then you're starting to get these things, these seeds that people think, actually, it's not a dream. There's a chance that whatever he was waffling on about could actually happen because you're starting to. So then when you've got this great vision that people get excited about and they can see it and they can feel it and they touch it, then they start seeing some actions. And then the next thing is you need to communicate all the progress that you're making. So Brad is who we've talked about a few times. So Brad is really well known, and he's the match day announcer at Worcester Warriors. He's the match day announcer at Worcestershire Cricket Club. He's a DJ on Radio BBC in the area. So he's obviously very skilled, and everybody knows him. He's been on the committee for ages. I think he went in for a few years, didn't he? But yeah, it's got a bit quiet. So all of a sudden, Dave can see this, and he's just like, oh, I'm getting back involved in the club. He's just this amazing communicator that everyone see. And then on top of that, there's another one of our players, Tom Vale, who no doubt you'll have on at some stage. So he was head of PR for Worcester Warriors Rugby Club. He was head of PR for Wasps Rugby. He's head of PR for England Golf now. So he's obviously got all those skills. So we bring them onto the committee. So now you then end up where you've got this brilliant vision, which seemed beyond what anybody could ever think about as having in Martley. But you're making all these little step changes towards it, which then means people start thinking, actually, this might happen. Then you're communicating. So if I talk about the committee, I said, we used to have 3, we've now got 15. We used to have 3 volunteers, we've now got 34. All of a sudden, this kind of groundswell of everybody wanted this thing to happen. And then it was like, right, and we're going to have a pavilion. And then it was like, oh, I have no idea how we're going to have that. Fortunately, Steve's the builder, and he's the most driven individual that you'll ever meet in your life. I'm like, yeah, I'm not actually not available. But you want now?
What would you call this?
Project manager.
Project manager.
All right. So then all of a sudden it just starts rolling and rolling and rolling. And then you work with all the different stakeholders and all the parents and local businesses come on board. The parish council supported us. And then before you know it, what you said was going to happen, that I don't even know whether you believe it was going to happen. Everything starts rolling and then it is happening. And then you start fundraising. And then that dickhead there starts saying, right, I'm hiring a mini digger tomorrow.
He's pointing at Steve, by the way, just like
I'm digging the foundations. And you're like, well, I haven't got any money yet. But all, if it just starts, and then you've got local guys coming in and helping, the brickie, everybody just starts coming and giving their time. And then the whole thing has been a community project where the councils have vouchers fund, we've had funding from all different bodies, but we've got loads of people around the area.
And I have to say,
chuck money in.
It looks extraordinary. I mean, for a village cricket team, I mean, Martley is one of the most beautiful parts of the world. It's extraordinary. The amount of cyclists we have, because it's like the Pyrenees around here, the amount of walkers, the amount of tourists, just because it's so beautiful. It's God's own country. And I love it to be, I'll never live anywhere else. I think it's amazing. And to have that in the village, you two should be extraordinarily proud. I think it's fantastic. So tell us about 26th of July. What is happening on 26th of July?
26th of July, we have Worcestershire County Cricket Club once again. I say once again because I think it may be now the 6th but 7th time they visit us for a benefit match or a testimonial year. We've done Stuart Lampitt, we've done Steve Rhodes, all Indian cricketers. We've had Glenn McGrath play for us, currently the world's number one bowler when he played for us. Last year we did Ben Cox, who was the wicket keeper at Worcester. This year we've got Joe Leach, stalwart of Worcestershire County Cricket Club. He's bringing his side to play us on Friday the 26th of July. 5 p.m. starts, I believe, 5:30 p.m. start. Gates are open at 2 o'clock. Bar is open at 9 in the morning.
You're very cute.
Always is.
And it's the official opening of the pavilion?
Yes, the official opening of the new pavilion is the 26th of July. It's being opened by a 2005 Ashes winning off spinner
OBE.
with an OBE. We can't mention his name because it's top secret, but it might be Ashley Giles.
It might be, yeah. I was going to say Ashley. Does it start with A and Ashley Giles? Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's happening.
I mean,
It will be opened.
if you guys around the world can fly in from Australia and Canada and Vanuatu, wherever you're from, come and support us. Come along in the afternoon, have a few beers, have some of the great barbecue food, some of the food that's on offer, watch some great cricket, meet some wonderful people. You'll have a great time.
It's that without a rubbish. So it's distinctly average cricket. The barbecue will be crap, but
It'll rain.
will be great.
Yeah. And on that note, I've really enjoyed this first episode. Do we think there's going to be a second episode?
Quite enjoyed it.
Yeah?
It was good.
Cake was good.
Unfortunately, it was the wrong cake, but the cake was good.
Yeah.
The salty.
Yeah, I feel terrible about that. But please check us out on Facebook. We'll definitely do video at some point. Let's put some. I'm sure in the podcast episode we can put some photos of Watty's hair. Have Magnum PI. Ask your grandparents about Magnum PI. They can tell you all about it. And we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.